What's up, you guys? Anthony here. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I want to teach you how funnel duplicating is exactly how I'd make $10,000 per month with dropshipping if I had to start over. If everything was just reset, I lost everything and I had nothing to my name, no businesses, no nothing. Funnel duplicating is exactly what I would do if I wanted to get to 10K a month profit as quickly as possible. I'm going to teach you exactly what that is in this video. And then I'm going to show you step by step everything that you need to do to actually follow this process all the way through and make your first 10K a month with branded dropshipping, even if you're a complete beginner. And this is the exact blueprint that will allow you to basically go from product testing and within a matter of days, start seeing results with your store. Now, obviously, results like these are not typical. Like one of our students scaling to 5K in a single day, just 12 days after testing a product, but it will show you the step-by-step guide that you actually need and the actions that you actually need to take that will generate you results. Because the sad reality is that if you're clicking on this video, chances are you've seen all kinds of free resources on YouTube. And the sad reality is that 99% of these tutorials are just complete bullshit. And I'm going to explain why. Majority of these tutorials online don't actually give you the step-by-step instructions that you need. And honestly, you don't really need 6 hours of content, 7 hours of content to get started. So I'm going to teach you everything that you need in this video and then also show you why you should be using funnel duplicating if you want to get to 10K a month as quickly as possible. Now, what's up, guys? Anthony here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Anthony Camacho. I scaled my first e-com brand to 7 figures, and I've now generated over 9 figures in advertising revenue with Shopify and Facebook ads. So I don't want to waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the video. And by the way, this is probably going to be one of my longest videos on the channel. So if you don't have anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes to watch a video, it's going to tell you literally step by step everything that you need to do to actually make life-changing money, then you should probably just click off this video and go watch some dude play video games, or I don't know, whatever else is in your suggested tab. That's maybe more important than this if your brain is completely dopamine maxed. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and dive in. And before we dive in, of course, as always, you guys absolutely crushed it with the special word in last video. And we're going to have another word that I want you guys to comment in the comments below. And when you comment that word, not only will it signify to all the other audience members that you are in on a joke that they have no clue about, it will also signify, more importantly, that your brain is not completely dopamine maxed from TikTok shorts and you actually have the attention span to sit through a video that can change your life. And lastly, of course, and most importantly, we're going to do something extremely fun, which is at the end of the week, we're going to pick one lucky person who's been commenting that word across these last few videos to get a free month subscription into our private course and community, God to Your Ecom. So keep an eye out for that word. I'm going to drop it probably in another 5 to 10 minutes here. And once you hear that word, I want you to comment it in the comments below. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the video. Now, here's the problem, okay? So most free courses online, they just have too much fluff. And another way we could refer to this is junk volume. And for those of you guys that train regularly, that go to the gym, you guys know about this principle called junk volume. Okay, and junk volume and overtraining essentially occurs when the body is subjected to more stress and workload than it can recover from. So it essentially refers to excessive training volume that does not contribute meaningfully to muscle growth or strength gain. So if you think about why we go to the gym, fundamentally, we go to the gym to put on muscle and to make gains. That is it. And there comes a point in your training where you are exposing the body, if you're overtraining or doing too much training. Say you're going to the gym 6 days a week for 6 hours. Who knows? I don't even know what you could do for 6 hours in the gym that would be effective. But let's say you're in the gym for 6 hours, you're fully natural, and you're trying to just make strength gains. Well, the reality is that there's a certain portion of that volume that is above the threshold of volume that you need to hit to actually produce your desired outcome, which is growing muscle and making strength gains. So I see this a lot on YouTube, and there are so many courses I'm not going to call it specific ones. There's just a lot of courses out here that honestly you don't need because they're just filled with what we call junk volume and they're filled with fluff. And majority of the time, guys, these are lead magnets. So these quote like free courses, they are really good lead magnets to push affiliate links. And I have no hate, by the way, on the strategy. I'm just telling you what these courses are actually designed to do. They're not really designed to get you results. They're to basically feign value and give off the appearance of value. So that way you're more likely to click on the affiliate links and the softwares. So these creators, they're creating content, they're pushing affiliate links. And basically, if you click those links, they get a kickback whenever you sign up for Shopify, whenever you sign up for let's say AutoDS. And look, again, no hate. I have affiliate links. They're no longer in my description, but I have affiliate links with all these platforms as well. Any creator that builds up a decently sized audience will get those. And again, I have no hate on that. I have a paid course myself, and this content links directly to that paid course. So again, I'm not saying I'm some like holier than thou person that doesn't sell anything. I'm just telling you, majority of these courses are not fully intended to get you results. And the real reality is that you really don't need paid courses to get started, right? Because starting a branded dropshipping business, there's really only like a handful of things that you need to focus on. But what happens is that because there's so much content, most people get overwhelmed and they just never start. And beginners I see fall into this trap where they're spending hours watching content, but never executing and taking action. And this is not just like something that happens with free content. This happens literally in my paid course and community, where we have people that are joining the course. They're getting access to all this super advanced training. They're getting access to the weekly Q&A calls. They're getting access to one-on-one coaching calls. And because there's so much course content, they get stuck in this loop of just watching content, or they're doing product research for like weeks on end when it should really take you like an hour. And so really what we need to fix here is the core fundamental problem that to actually build a business and build a dropshipping business, there's really only like 4 or 5 things that you should be focused on. And the rest of it, you could just completely disregard. And we're going to cover what those things are in this video. And we're also going to teach you how the best way to go about funnel duplicating, which is a new term that I'm coining, funnel duplicating, and why that is the best way to actually get started with making money with branded dropshipping. So the deeper problem underlying all of this is that beginners will get sold into trying dropshipping because they hear, you don't need a lot of money to get started, right? You can just sell products and you don't pay until you actually ship them out. But this is not entirely true, okay? And what happens to 99% of people who try dropshipping is, and you can probably resonate with this, is they test the product, they make 0 sales, and now they've lost a few $100 because they spent $100 to $200 on a testing campaign. And if you rinse and repeat this process across multiple products and you're not making sales, you are very quickly down thousands. And this is not an exaggeration. Dropshipping can be a very slippery slope into losing money fast. And the catch-22 of all of this is that creators like myself, creators on YouTube, will literally tell you to test more products or just test more ads, bro. You'll hear every single creator tell you, just test more creatives, test more creatives, test more creatives, right? But this advice really isn't suitable for people with limited capital or people who just want to take fewer risks. Because testing more products involves more money. Testing more ads involves more money. And so this is honestly one of the worst spots to be in as a beginner, where you know you need to keep putting more money in to actually make money, but you have a limited amount of capital to begin with. And so the solution then is to, number one, get rid of all the bullshit, get rid of all the distractions that come with dropshipping. And we want to identify the handful of things that actually determine whether or not you make sales in this business. And this is what you should be actually doing. This is what all of your time should be focused on. Not trying to do 20 to 30 different things, just 4 or 5 things that actually matter, and then focusing on that and putting your all-in effort on that as well. And the solution then is also to eliminate as many unproven variables in your test as possible. We want to eliminate as much of the risk as possible. That arrow is hideous. And if we can do this, right, if we can eliminate as many unproven variables when we're testing, and if we can eliminate as much risk as possible when we're testing, we now have step-by-step actions someone can follow to start dropshipping, and we have now eliminated as much of the associated risk as possible. And this is the dream outcome for a level 1 dropshipper. So if you're a level 1 dropshipper, right, this is you right now. You're a young Padawan, right? And remember, Padawans need a lot of training. They are typically not as seasoned as their Jedi Knight and Jedi Master counterparts. And so when you're a level 1 dropshipper, you really typically don't have a lot of capital to start unless you already have another business on the side or you work a really good high-paying job and you already have some savings built up. But let's be honest, 99% of dropshippers usually don't have a ton of capital to start. We're looking at anywhere from $500 to $5,000 in starting capital. They're usually not good enough at marketing to bring a brand new product to market unless they get really lucky. And most level 1 dropshippers, their highest and best asset is time and effort over capital. So when you don't have a lot of capital, the way you offset the lack of capital is you increase your time and effort. because that is your greatest leverage. Right now, you don't have a ton of capital, so you need to offset that by putting in more time and effort. But that's perfect because you can always increase your time and effort, right? Until the day that you die, obviously, but you have more time and more effort that you can put in constantly because it costs you nothing, right? But when it comes to capital, you can't always put in more capital because eventually, right, if you have a starting budget of, 5K, eventually you are going to run out of capital. You can't just infinitely put in more capital, right? There's a finite limit to your capital, but there's no finite limit to your time and effort. So what we want to do is, and this is everything that you need to do to hit $30,000 per month, okay? A 30% profit, which will make you 10K profit per month, okay? This is it. This is all you need to focus on. We need to find a product to sell, okay? We need to build a store to sell it. We need to make ads to advertise it. And we need to test more and more ads until you're profitable. That's it. And the best part is if you focus on these 4 things, eventually only this thing, and if you do these first 3 things right, only this thing, testing more and more ads until you're profitable, that's the only thing that you need to focus on. And if you can do this and isolate the steps so you can do it and test in such a way that you can eliminate as much risk as possible, meaning eliminating as much of the possibility to lose money in testing as possible, then what that means is your time and effort, we'll just call it time plus effort, right? You can maximize your time and effort without worrying about capital because we've eliminated the risk and made it such that you have the freedom to test as many ads as possible without losing significant capital. And that is the sweet spot. That is the flow state. That is the dream outcome for the beginner dropshipper. Isolate everything. Make all of these variables here proven. And so that way, all you need to do is just test. And then it literally just becomes a matter of volume until you find one winning ad. And once it only takes one winning ad, contrary to popular belief, to get to 1K a day and $30,000 per month at 30% profit, you just need one winning ad. You just need one. And once you get that first one, it becomes like a snowball effect. You get 1, then you get 2, then you get 3. Now you have 3 winning ads in the account. You scale further, you're making profits, you reinvest it back into content, and it literally becomes this like machine and you're off to the races, right? So I want to basically now get into what I call funnel duplicating, okay? And funnel duplicating is the fastest way to 10K a month. You will not tell me otherwise. There is no, I don't care what method there is, funnel duplicating is the fastest way to get to 10K a month with branded dropshipping. And by the way, we're 12 minutes into the video. And of course, we're getting very, very close to me dropping that special word. So hang on for just a couple more minutes because I'm going to drop that word. And again, if you comment it in the comments below, you will be entered into a chance to win a free month of God Tier Ecom, but also you'll just prove that you're a G and you're in on it. And it's always so interesting to see how long it takes at different points when I drop the word to see the first person that gets it. So shout out to you guys. You're real ones if you're able to sit through a video that can change your life. And so I want to introduce you to this concept here. And this is really going to pre-frame why funnel duplicating is so powerful. And we're going to get to the step-by-step process here shortly in a second, but I want to explain to you why it's so powerful with this quote. And this is from a book, I believe it's called Steal Like an Artist. This is one of my favorite quotes from the book. Okay. Copy your heroes, examine where you fall short. What's in there that makes you different? That's what you should amplify and transform your own work. And the reason why funnel duplicating is so powerful is because as a beginner dropshipper, you typically don't have the skill set to, on your own, ideate new variables in your business that are better than your competitors. Because your competitors typically have a lot more time in the market. They've probably been doing it for way longer than you. And so you're not going to beat them by simply ideating them. But that doesn't matter because if you want to make 10K a month profit with branded dropshipping, you don't need to outcompete anyone. In fact, you don't really need to beat anyone in business or with branded dropshipping to be able to make 10K a month profit. You really just need to take a small slice of someone's larger pie. So if you have a competitor that's doing, let's say this pie represents like 1 mil a month, right? You really only need to get to 10K a month, like a tiny fraction of that. We're talking like barely. Like if this is your fraction of the pie, if this is a $1 million per month business, this fraction represents maybe like 30K a month. Okay. And if you're doing 30K a month revenue at 30% profit, which is possible, then you're making 10K a month profit. You really don't need the rest of this, because the rest of this, that's for later on down the line when you want to get to scaling to big figures. But when you're trying to make 10K a month profit, you're not even worried about scaling. You need to get a business that's working and profitable so you can roll that cash back into scaling it or starting a new project. And so, in other words, funnel duplicating basically encapsulates this idea where we want to just find what's working and replicate it. Okay, that's it. We just find what's working and we replicate it. And if we can eliminate the risk associated with testing, now you have basically almost like, it's not guaranteed, but it is the safest and most effective way to get to 10K a month profit. So let's get now into the actual step-by-step process, because I'm going to outline step by step everything that you need to do to actually be able to build a business. Starting from, like, if you just were sitting down at your laptop, you opened up a fresh Chrome tab and you're like, I want to start a dropshipping business. This is everything that you need to do. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty. So step one is find a product, right? If you want to start a brand new dropshipping business, you need to have a product to sell. Otherwise, it's not a dropshipping business. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a spy tool like Get Hooked or PP Ads if you want access to either of those two. First link in the description. But if not, sign up for a free trial, or if not, just pay the $50 a month, right? If you can find one product that's a winner, you will literally pay that back in one sale in the subscription. So use a spy tool like Get Hooked or PP Ads. I've done videos using Ad Library. The raw reality is that Get Hooked or PP Ads are two of the best spy tools for finding winning products. You can use other spy tools, but the whole point of this is that spy tools significantly speed up the process of finding a proven winner. So what you want to do is open up one of these spy tools and you want to look for products that are already doing $300,000 per month in sales. You want to do and look for products that solve a problem or a pain. You want to look for products that are easy to ship. You want to look for products that you can price at 30% or at 70% gross margins. And you want to look for products that you can upsell with other products or more of the same product. Okay. So this criteria, super self-explanatory. I'll show you how to validate that in a second here. This criteria, very self-explanatory. This criteria is very self-explanatory. This criteria is very self-explanatory. This is the only one that you might be slightly confused about, which is, can you price it at 70% gross margins? And all that means is you need to be able to sell the product and price the product that if you take your sale price and you subtract the cost of goods plus the shipping, whatever's left over represents 70% of the sale price. You can literally ask ChatGPT to do this. Just say, here's my product price. Then go look for competitors, see what they're selling the product for, and make sure that you can sell the product for the same price or potentially higher. But usually you want to be able to sell the product for the same price as your competitor and maintain a 70% margin. Okay, so let me show you a very quick example of what this looks like when you can't price it at 70% margins. Okay, so let's take the example of this Pilates board, because this is super popular, and I will show you a competitor. So let's say I was doing product research and I was like, boom, I want to sell this fitness Pilates board. Okay. I see my competitor selling it for 140, right? So I want to be, if I know my competitor is crushing it with this product at 140, I want to be able to sell it for at least 140. And typically you'd want to be going too much higher than that, right? Your competitor is always the best baseline for what you should be pricing your products at. So if I go on AliExpress and I see, okay, $50, this is $84. If I click on this listing, right? And I go into the AliExpress price, right? Could I 2.5x to 3x this price and still make a profit? Or another question you can ask is, if I was to sell this product at 140, would I have at least 70% gross margin? And it's super easy. Just go into ChatGPT, right? You say, you take this price and you say, could I sell this product? Let's get rid of all this shit. At 139 at 70% gross margin. That's it. Super simple. Okay. Sell price, 139. Okay, it looks like it's 60% gross margin. So guess what? I move on. That's it. I move on. It doesn't hit the criteria. The reason why this is important is because you need enough margin left over. You need enough money left over after cost of goods to be able to pay for advertising. Because remember, we're going to run ads to drive sales for our product. So if I am selling this, where's my actual gross margin? Let's see. So my actual gross margin is $83 and a 60% margin. So what that means is you have 60% gross profit left over after you pay for the cost of goods. And for me, I have never seen a product scale successfully with margins lower than 60% at a bare minimum. So I like to go for 70%, and that is what you should shoot for as well. Okay, that's it. That's how you find the product. Okay, and then in terms of trying to validate if they're doing $300,000 per month in sales, it's super simple. Okay, you're going to download a Chrome extension called SimilarWeb. You're going to go to your competitor's website. After you find them on a spy tool, you're going to click the SimilarWeb Chrome extension. You're going to see how many sessions they've done in the last month. I am seeing 228,000. So they have 228,000 visitors. I'm going to take 228,000. I'm going to multiply that by the average e-commerce conversion rate. Because this is a higher price point, I'm going to assume they have a lower conversion rate of somewhere around 2%. That's going to tell me how many people have purchased in the last month. I'm then going to multiply this by their average order value, which is 139. And then that is going to give me their estimated monthly revenue. And as long as that number is greater than 300,000, this is a proven product that is worth selling. So now at this point, if you follow this along, you now have a product that solves a problem, is easy to ship. You can price at 70% gross margins. You can upsell with other products, and you have proven is already working. So you know, if you sell a product that is already proven to sell, if it's not working, then it's something wrong with you and not the product. That is why it is so important to pick a product that is already validated, meaning it's already proven to sell. So when shit is not working and you need to fix stuff, you will have zero doubt in your mind that it's because nobody wants the product, because that is why we have gone through this process of validating it. Okay, that's step one, found a product. Super duper simple, okay? Step two, build a store. Now that you have a product, oh my goodness, now that you have a product, you build a Shopify site. Very simple. Copy your competitor's site one-to-one, copy your competitor's offer one-to-one. And if it doesn't look exactly like theirs, it's not ready. You can have ChatGPT rewrite everything for you. Same goes for the product images, but very, very simple. If it's working for your competitor, then it's proven to work. So again, going back to this idea up at the top where we want to eliminate, where is it? Right here. We want to eliminate as many unproven variables in the test as possible. So that includes store design, right? So if you follow this one-to-one, you don't need a crazy theme. If you want access to a free premium theme, you can join God Tier Ecom and get access to one of the best themes on the market. But honestly, you don't even really need it, okay? Just copy your competitor's site as closely as possible. If a competitor is driving, like let's look at this. They're driving 200,000 people to this website every single month. That shit, you cannot do that without getting at least some form of return. So if I was selling this Pilates Fit board, I would not launch this product until my website looks exactly like theirs. And that includes product images, that includes the before and afters, that includes the reviews. Like I would do everything one-to-one with exactly as they have it. And that includes the offer as well, because now we have proven product with proven store design. Okay. And if you're novice at putting stores together, I have several videos on the channel that you can watch, or there's several tutorials. The main thing is copy it one-to-one. Okay. So now we have proven product, proven store. Next, we're going to make some ads. And this is where it starts to get a little bit more complex and complicated, because there's so many different ways to go about it. But if I was a complete beginner from scratch and I wanted to just get my business off the ground as quickly as possible, I would follow these steps exactly. So close this. Alrighty, so you guys have seen this, literally this exact workflow in the previous video. So I'm gonna try and go through it as quickly as possible. But the first thing I would do is use ChatGPT to find 10 public forums and discussion threads of people who have the problem your product solves, talking about their experience. So let's take the Pilates board. Okay, so let's take this as an example, and we'll just open up a fresh new ChatGPT window, and we'll say, I need your help. Oh, my dictation is off. So can we do this? Awesome. So I need your help to find 10 public discussion forums. Could be Reddit, could be other fitness related forums, because I'm trying to understand and see how people talk about the problems that could be solved by an at-home Pilates board. So think things like weight loss or other reasons why, other problems rather, why people buy Pilates boards. And then find me 10 discussion forums, either Reddit or other fitness related forums, of people talking about the problems associated with something that could be solved from a Pilates board at home. Okay, so we're adding in 10 discussion forums through ChatGPT, and we're just purely doing research on what the problem is. Okay, once we do that, we're then going to have ChatGPT analyze all of these URLs for specific keywords, phrases, semantics, and language used verbatim by your customers. We want to understand if there's a problem that someone has in their lives, how do they talk about it? How do they describe it? What language do they use? right? We want to understand all of this because this is going to feed directly into making some really good ads. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So take a look at this. Now we have Reddit threads. And if we click on these, anyone lose weight with Pilates? Look at this, transform my posture and help define my body, but I wouldn't say it's ideal for the goal of losing weight. Losing weight is much more about diet than exercise. So we're basically trying to get insight into like what are the core problems of losing weight. And what we can do now is basically take all of this and we'll say, oh, did it not copy the URLs? Shit. Okay. I'm going to say, I don't think this is going to work. So let me pause the video. Okay. So really quick, I thought it wasn't going to work, but all I did was ask it, can you please analyze each of these URLs for specific keywords, phrases, and semantics and language used by our customers? Okay. So now we're getting, as you can see, all of these really good verbatim phrases from our from our target audience. So we're seeing exactly how they describe the problems that they have and even the benefits that they get from doing Pilates. Okay. Then we go back to the Miro board, and then we're going to basically after this identify one singular dominant mass desire, or in other words, what do people want who have this problem? Okay. So let's let this continue. And by the way, we're 26 minutes in. I know 95% of you are gone. So shout out to the 5% of you that can stick around through a huge long video like this. And I am going to drop that special word. So just give it a couple more seconds and I'll drop that word. Couple seconds, Jesus Christ, a couple minutes, because I want to make sure we get through this. Okay, so now we've done that. Then we're going to say, based on the research that you've done on our target audience, I want you to identify the one dominant mass desire or the prevailing thing that people want to get out of this product. Please write your response as the desire to blank, blank, blank. Okay. The desire to effortlessly strengthen, tone, and reshape their body without sacrificing comfort, time, or accessibility. Okay, so now we know, based on the research, not only do we have specific keywords that describe how people get benefits and solve problems in this niche, we also have the one singular dominant mass desire. So now what we're going to do is we're going to identify what is the unique mechanism behind the problem. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of this, but I'm just going to say, we're going to go like this and literally just copy that in. And all we're trying to do here is we're trying to identify unique and interesting causes for the problems associated with like weight loss. And the reason why we want to do that is because when we have a unique, what's called a unique mechanism of the problem, we're basically able to say to people, and this is really prevalent in saturated markets, this is why what you've tried in the past has not worked, because the actual cause of your issue is not all these things that you thought it was. It's actually this thing that you've never heard of. So what we're going to do is enter that in. And again, all we're doing is analyzing the product's, I don't know why it says ingredients or features. And we'll say, sorry, I fucked this up. Let me go back, analyze. Let's do the Pilates board at home. Let's just take Lawn Nail Fitness. Okay. Analyze the features here. Okay, and then we say work backwards from that to identify 10 unique or interesting causes of this problem that your product's features solve. Okay, super duper simple. Alrighty. All right, so what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to pause this and grab one of my documents that I need for this. Okay, so really quick, the initial response that ChatGPT gave me, I simply asked it this, and through this unique mechanism checklist, which by the way is linked in the description of this video. So it gave me a set of 10 mechanisms. And as you can see, they were very, very generic. And this is what you want to avoid. So all I said was, do these meet this checklist? I said, I meant for the core underlying problem of weight loss or whatever they're trying to solve. And then it does a quick audit and it tells you, no, none of these meet it. So then I say, yes, please do research into 10 interesting or unique causes behind the problems our customers would want to solve by buying this product to explain why what they've tried in the past hasn't worked. So now we get actual 10 mechanisms of the problem. So these are ways to explain to people who are in this market, hey, you're trying to achieve something, you have a problem, you can't achieve your desired outcome, here's why. And it's because your deep core muscles are asleep and traditional workouts don't wake them up. Your fascia is restricting fat loss, not your muscles. Okay, so now we have 10 unique mechanisms. And now we want to say, based on our product's features and the URL that I just gave you, do any of the features have a connection to solving these mechanisms in a novel way? Okay, and let that enter in. We don't even need to say in a novel way. We can just say solving these mechanisms. Okay, so deep core muscles are asleep. Nice. Okay, so we're basically just trying to make sure that all of these unique and interesting causes for the problem, our product actually does solve, because we don't want to lie to people, obviously. Okay, so you're missing eccentric loading. Okay, now we'll say, alrighty, based on the unique mechanism checklist, I now want you to pick the single most prominent or powerful unique mechanism that we could use to start building ad creatives around. Okay, so now we're basically saying of these 10, I want you to pick the best one. Boom. Okay, so now this is the core explanation and unique mechanism of the problem that we're going to use in all of our ads. Okay, so we're basically telling people the reason why you can't lose weight is because your deep core muscles are asleep and standard workouts don't wake them up. And that means that you need this unique product or mechanism of the solution to actually solve your problem. Okay, so this then becomes like your central angle. This is going to be your starting point for the creative that you make. And remember, at this point, we already have identified the mass desire, and the dominant mass desire for us was the desire to basically tone and sculpt the body easily without a lot of equipment and stuff like that. So this becomes the angle, and now we can make 10 image ad concepts and generate these directly in ChatGPT. And then we can also proceed to write 3 45 seconds UGC ad scripts from our customer's perspective using an attention grabbing hook, blah, 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 blah. So let me show you how to generate the actual concepts for this within ChatGPT. And all we'll say is, now I want you to act like a Webby award-winning creative strategist with decades of experience driving conversions in this highly saturated market for my at-home Pilates board that I gave you the URL for. I want you to come up with 10 original, disruptive, attention-grabbing image ad concepts that we could use to leverage this unique mechanism behind the problem. We need to make sure that every image concept has one headline that leverages the unique mechanism behind the problem, and then has a long form piece of ad copy on the actual creative to explain the unique mechanism behind the solution. So the setup should be one big headline and then one smaller piece of long form ad copy on the actual image itself. You have no brand guidelines. You have no brand restrictions. Be as creative as you can to grab attention and persuade people to buy our product. So much easier to talk to ChatGPT than type it out, man. Awesome. Alrighty. So now here we have 10 attention-grabbing image ad concepts for your at-home Pilates board. Okay. So here are the images. So most people's deep core is asleep is yours. Crunches can't reach the muscles that actually flatten your stomach. That's a really good one. Your deep core is the real fat-burning switch, but it's probably turned off. That is fucking phenomenal. Okay, we'll say now, it didn't seem to generate the prompt, so we'll say generate 10 unique prompts for each of these unique ChatGPT image generation prompts. Each of these. Boom, boom, boom. Awesome. And then we'll say really quick, we'll give it our product specifically just so it knows. We'll say, boom. All right, so we'll grab these two images right here, and we'll say, here's our product. So let's grab our product now. And all right, so here's our product. Here's our product. It's an at-home Pilates board. Please adjust the prompts accordingly. Okay. Alrighty, so we're almost done here. So once we have the image ad concepts in ChatGPT, then we can also write the scripts, which you can do literally within ChatGPT as well. So awesome. So what we can do now is grab this. Oh, it looks like it's missing the copy. So we'll pause here. each of these concepts is missing the copy. Remember, we want the copy and headline on the image itself. Awesome. So let's generate that. 10 disruptive image ad concepts. Alrighty. Amazing. Amazing. So we can already start to generate these, and we're not going to do all of them because generating all of them in the span of a single video would just take fucking forever. So I'll just show you what it's like to generate one image ad, and then we'll go from there. But that being said, you now have, I mean, if you can just see how many image ads concepts that you have 10 unique image ad concepts that are deeply rooted in messaging that's actually going to persuade your customer. So I'll pause the video here and we'll come back when the image is done. All right, guys, I do apologize for that. We are now recording this several hours in the future because I uploaded this video and I found out that literally the entire thing last 10 minutes cut off entirely. So I'm re-recording this. Anyways, here is the finished final concept that we've generated using ChatGPT. And as you can see, we are leveraging everything that we just generated in terms of the messaging. So we're leveraging a unique mechanism of the problem and a unique mechanism of the solution. And again, I do want to emphasize that this is just one example of a creative that you can test, and it's just one visual art style as well. So what I would recommend you do is, as you're generating these prompts, give the AI as much creative freedom as possible and give it very specific examples of the types of aesthetics and visuals that you want to go after. So for example, I love doing like Pixar 3D style animations because before the advent of AI imagery, there was just literally no way to actually test those kinds of ads for your brand. And that's just one example. There's like so many different art styles, art directions. Another thing that I love doing is spying on my competitors and seeing what kinds of content and art styles they're doing, and then replicating that here in ChatGPT. But the main thing that you have to get down with strong image ads is the messaging. And obviously, if you pair this with a really strong advertorial, a really good offer, and overall a good landing page on the other side of this ad, then that puts you in a much stronger position. And it is super easy to generate ads like this very, very quickly. Okay, so now you have a really effective way to be able to generate tons of image ads on demand that leverage strong messaging. So you're not just spamming the same Canva image template packs as everyone else. And then you can also write UGC ad scripts on your, with these chats that we've done as well. So if you go back to my video on pain maxing, which if you click on the channel, go back to the video where I think it's like pain maxing, blah, blah, blah. That is where I teach you how to turn this style of messaging into actual scripts. So I'm not going to do that in this video, but typically you want to make anywhere from 10 image ad concepts and 3 UGC ad concepts when you go to test a product, because that's going to give you the maximum chance of success. So at this point, you now have a proven ad, a proven layout for your store, and now you have ad creatives that are grounded in research and actual messaging and mass desires. So now we move on to step 4, which is to actually launch the ads. Now to do this, we're going to leverage a type of bidding strategy known as manual bidding, more specifically cost per result goal campaigns using bid caps and cost caps. So what we're going to do is to actually launch the ads, we first have to determine the correct and accurate targets for our product. So what we're going to do is go to ChatGPT, we're going to give it our product price and cost of goods, and we're also going to give it the selling price, and then we're going to ask it for a target CPA or cost per purchase to make 20% profit on every order. So let's go do that really quick. So it can literally look as simple as this, guys. This is my product price, $139. The product cost me $58 with shipping. What's my target CPA for 20% profit? And we just go ahead and press enter. And ChatGPT is going to give you the target CPA. So essentially, your target profit at 20% is going to be $27.80 on every transaction, which means if we want to achieve that, our target CPA is going to be $53. So this number, if we spend $53 to make a purchase, we will get 20% profit. This becomes the target that we then set in our actual CBO campaign. And what we're going to do now is go to Facebook ads, create a CBO campaign with a cost per result goal bidding strategy. We're going to do 2 ad sets, keep it very simple, completely broad targeting. We're doing 1 campaign per country. Then we're doing 1 ad set for videos and then 1 ad set for statics. And then you're going to set the cost cap to the 20% profit target CPA that we just identified in ChatGPT. So your campaign setup is going to look like this. And before you guys ask in the comments, like, or drop in the comments, like, oh, is this like, usually you say like 1 campaign and then launch all the additional ad tests as new ad sets. But again, we're trying to get to $1,000 a day in the most conservative and risk-free way possible. So what we're gonna do is we're only gonna have 2 ad sets, $100 a day, and the campaign's only gonna spend if it can hit this target. So we're basically telling Facebook, here is a target CPA that I want you to hit, only spend if you can hit this target. And you're gonna find out as you run this campaign that Facebook's gonna be very stingy with the spend, and that is because it's trying to be hitting your target of 20% profit. So what you're gonna do now is every single day, you're gonna add as many new creatives as possible. And I'm talking a minimum of 30 ads per day. Because again, if we go back to this comparison here, where you have money and then you have time plus effort, okay? If you are a complete beginner or if you're someone who's limited on capital, you can very easily run out of capital. So that's not where you want to have your leverage, okay? You want to basically have a strategy that makes your capital work as efficiently as possible. So that way you can put all of your volume on time and effort. Because let's be honest, the second that you lose that capital, it's game over for you. But as a beginner or someone who has limited capital, you probably have a lot more time and effort that you can put in. So that becomes the new point of leverage, okay? So every single day, add as many new creatives as possible and don't just spam creatives, okay? Make sure every single creative that you test, you can map out to a specific concept variable. Every creative that you test should be going after a specific mass desire. It should resonate with a specific level of awareness. It should resonate with a specific sophistication stage. Try saying that triple S 3 times fast. And it should resonate with a specific angle, lens, strategic framework. You get the idea. You don't just want to say, ChatGPT, come up with 10 image ads for my product and then just spam them every day, okay? So if you do a minimum of 30 ads that are all based around the same kind of messaging that we've done here, eventually it's only a matter of time and volume before you find that one winning ad that's gonna change your life. And so what your setup is gonna look like is, again, you have, let's just do this brand new. So you have 2 ad sets in your CBO campaign. This one is for statics and this one is for videos. Every time you have new statics, you add them here, okay? You're not creating new ad sets, you're just adding them into the existing ones. Anytime you have new videos, you just add them here. You're not adding new ad sets, you're just adding them to the existing ones. So you have the CBO campaign and then the 2 ad sets, and then your goal is, because these are gonna have a target CPA, I think this was like, was it again like 50, I think it was like 54, right? Target CPA, okay? So because these have a target built in, your main goal is every day just add in as many new creatives as possible, okay? And as long as the content's not shit, it's only a matter of time and volume until you actually hit the target. Now, is this the most optimal setup for scaling? Definitely not. But is this the most optimal setup to mitigate your downside, protect the limited capital that you have, and make sure that with the limited capital that you have, you can test as many new creatives as you want? Absolutely. And that is why I love this setup. And this is what I would recommend if you are a complete beginner. This is what I would do if I had to start over from complete scratch. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the content as always. And if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you made it to this point in the video and your attention span is not already fried from TikTok and YouTube Shorts, I want you to comment the phrase test more ads in the comments section below. Just type test more ads, no context. If you have another comment that you want to add to the video, just add that as a second comment. But please comment test more ads to prove, number one, that you're a real one. And so that way we can all be in on a joke that the rest of the people who just watch 1 minute of a video and click off to the next one will never understand. So comment test more ads in the comments. And of course, if you do comment that, at the end of the week, we're going to pick one lucky person to get a free subscription into God Tier Ecom as well. So make sure you comment test more ads in the comments below. And if you're wondering why that's important and what you even get access to when you join God Tier Ecom, I'll spend a couple minutes here telling you and showing you with full transparency everything that you get access to. So when you visit the About page and press the Join button, you're going to get access to 3 things. Number 1, the community section, which is our entire community of hustling entrepreneurs, over 160 people at this point who are all building and scaling their branded dropshipping businesses. And guys, I've said for the longest time on this channel that I think the most valuable aspect of God Tier Ecom is the live calls. And I've completely changed my mind over this last month with the most valuable aspect is by far the community and the network that you build with guys like Enos who are scaling all the way up to 10K a day. And again, everyone in here is posting their wins, sharing what's working for them. So you just pick up so much information that you otherwise wouldn't, just trying to learn everything yourself. So by far the community is the most valuable thing. You can pick up on what's working for other people, share what's working for you. And yeah, it's just insanely valuable. You also get access to the classroom section, which number one contains the full masterclass, which shows you step by step how to start and scale your first branded dropshipping business to $1,000 a day. We go through everything from picking products, building the store step by step, literally from the sign up page all the way to the fully built out store, how to write the advertorials with AI, how to do funnelish, how to make the creatives, and then how to actually test and scale on Facebook ads. You'll also get access to a bunch of free stuff. So if you're thinking about joining any of these spy tools, you might as well join Got to Ecom and get access to them for free and get access to all the other cool stuff. But when you join, you get access to spy tools, free Shopify themes like that are $200, funnelish templates, everything that I'm using, my private supplier, breakthrough advertising. Like, you get so much stuff when you join, on top of the live recordings, VIP one-on-one coaching calls, which I just had one right before this video and it was insanely valuable for me as well. And you get all that when you join as well. And then lastly are the Q&A calls, where we have multiple times per week. You can jump on and ask me questions live for anywhere from 1 to 2 hours and get real-time feedback on your store and get my advice to break past any challenges that you're currently facing. So if all that sounds good to you, if you want access to the community, the classroom, all of the bonuses, all of the live calls, even the one-on-one coaching calls, and all of the bonuses in the classroom and all that good stuff, then click the first link in the description to join God Tier Ecom. Again, if you're serious about starting and scaling a branded dropshipping business to $1,000 a day, there has literally never been a better time to join. We're doing something really special right now where we're giving 60% off a yearly subscription. And I can say with like 100% certainty, we are never doing that again, because it is an extremely big discount and several people have already redeemed it. So because it's such a good deal. So if you want to get 60% off a year, then click the first link in the description. On top of that, there is a 7-day money back guarantee. So you can literally test out the community, test out the classroom for a full week. And if you hate it for whatever reason, you can get a full refund, no questions asked. So again, if you're serious about starting and scaling a branded dropshipping business to $1,000 a day, and you want access to the community, the classroom, the calls, the one-on-one coaching, click the first link in the description to join God Tier Ecom. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed the content as always. I know this was a much longer video, but I feel like you guys have been really loving the more in-depth, long-form content. So I'm going to keep that coming. Make sure you comment the special phrase in the comments below. I'm not going to say it right now because I don't want to ruin it. And those of you guys that saw this video before it got corrupted already know the phrase. So just comment it on this video. Greatly helps out. And I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.